Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Random Thinkie Bits with me, your host, the Crap Artist. Yay! Today, I would like to talk to you guys about the January 6th, 2021 riot at the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. They call it a riot, but it kind of just looked like a raucous protest to me. There was no like people causing bodily harm or threatening or being menacing or doing any public damage or anything like that. It was just loud protesting and mauling on through the Capitol building. And I'm pretty sure that there's evidence that government employees opened the doors and led the way through the entire thing. So there's that. But I don't know nothing. I'm just, a crappy artist and housewife. Anyway, so last week, this little old biddy, 71-year-old woman named Rebecca Lavrins, she was charged and convicted of 4 counts of misdemeanor trespassing and some other shit. And she is facing a year in prison and over 200K in fines and legal fees and all that mess. The internet is calling her the January 6th praying grandma because like the screenshots of her kind of look like she's praying. So anyway, it took them a really long time to find her. And when they did, they sure made her sorry for being in the wrong place at the wrong time and having a dissenting opinion opposing the current political regime in power. So make her sorry, make her be a little old biddy with a year in jail with hardened criminals and shit. And to add insult to injury, her public defender is another geriatric individual. This one's name is Stephanie Mueller, and they are a 70-year-old transgender person. From what I gather of their online digital footprint, their social media and their interactions and shit like that, they are far more concerned about the presentation of their sexuality and their gender identity than they are their career as an attorney. It's almost like the attorney part is incidental and really not that important to the existence of this individual. And if I was Rebecca, I would be, I would be worried and I would be asking for a different defender, or I would be asking, I would be starting some sort of GoFundMe to find somebody that can properly represent you and isn't completely fixated on their own being and their own presentation in the world and their own place in it. Somebody that's more focused on their job than how they look. That's what I would be concerned about there. And to top it off here, like they say that in the article here it says that she is surgically altered, that her that this is a surgical alteration, that it's under her skin and part of her being. But upon closer inspection of this photo here, here we go. Like, you can just make it out here, but I got it in my trusty, dusty old photo impact all enlarged and circled for everybody's viewing pleasure. There's a seam here. There's a seam here and one right here. And also, this right here is perfectly sculpted and doesn't quite look like a normal human being's clavicles. um, and the skin is so smooth and beautiful and perfect, and the face is a 70-year-old person with entirely too much cosmetics, a synthetic wig, and yeah, that's a 70-year-old face right there with a lot of makeup on. There's no liver spots or wrinkles or old skin on the lower body. So, yeah, it just screams, "Hi, I'm wearing a silicone prosthetic vest," you know, and I'm not at all in any way, shape, or form transitioning, in reality. I'm just cosplaying, is what it looks like. Because you can find those prosthetics on AliExpress, and they start at around like $175 for a meh looking one, like one that young dumb honey bun would wear. And she does. Yes, she does. Gotta throw a little girl verse in there too. Hey guys, this is Editing Crap Artist, and I just want to step in here real quick and show you guys that I went on to AliExpress and I found exactly the model that Miss Stephanie Mueller was wearing in that lovely, lovely photo, um, for under $200 American, and it's on sale. Look, 37% off. Um, it's literally the exact model. And you can get it in cotton and silicone, whichever you desire. So, yeah, basically you just trim the neckline to fit yours, and you wear a choker or a high neck dress with like a cutout center so that you can show off your goodies or what have you. And yeah, so not a surgical procedure, just a silicone cosplay vest. Yep, back to the video. But yeah, that's not a surgical procedure. That person is wearing a prosthetic, and it's all just insane. And here's little bitty Rebecca Lavrans, the woman that is facing jail time and massive, massive fines. And, she's just your grandma. Trying to have an opinion. Ed from The Outer Light has an opinion too. And his is that Stephanie is actually some sort of autogonophile, like a fetishist, that they're not necessarily a transgender person, but they just like to fantasize about themselves as a woman for pleasure and gratification means. And then he believes that Stephanie is using the transgender protection umbrella to be able to go ahead and get away with doing this out in public. And yeah, I can see where he's coming from, and I could see that being a thing, because it is. I work at a flea market. I see all kinds of shit. And my stall is right next to the bathroom. So, I can see that being a possibility, but I like to hope that Stephanie is just an elaborate troll doing this in order to throw some light onto the insanity that is the current political regime, and our lack of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, because you're not allowed to say anything crappy or negative or disparaging about this person, this wonderful, strong, and brave individual here, because they're just trying to get by and live in a world that hates their guts and doesn't want them to exist and doesn't understand them. So, we just got to take it. Just got to take it and agree and say, yeah, you're very pretty, madam. You're a very pretty lady. Sure. It all boils down to this is the Biden administration making everybody with a dissenting opinion extremely sorry and afraid to express themselves and afraid to come forward with proof and truth because they will be hunted down and tormented and made a fool of or worse. And that's all I have to say. But before I go, I would like to say that I am not suicidal in any way, shape, or form. I love my life. I love my existence. I don't want to go anywhere. If anything happens to me, please investigate it fully and completely. Thank you and good night.